because I didn't scrub the kitchen floor. You have to
That's
you
good.
have to just settle in and say, okay, reality, what has to be done?
As a friend often reminds me, they will never put, boy, was her house clean on my tombstone.
Exactly.
How about you, Wanda? What advice would you have for caregiver stress reduction?
The one thing that I would say is contact the Area Agency on Aging. They offer other services, you know, for someone to come into the home, maybe help do some cooking, just to be there with the client,
The
the family
bathing.
member, and let the caregiver just go out, even if it's a half an hour while they're bathing that person. Just go out and have a cup of coffee.
Well, something else that I've started doing, and I absolutely love it, I run a support group for caregivers, not just Alzheimer's and dementia, the Parkinson's, strokes, whatever the situation is. And we offer a service so that whoever you're caring for can come as well. And they'll be entertained and have a good evening. But it's important to find out that your family isn't the only family that is reacting this way. And yes, this is the finances. And they talk amongst themselves about how they felt. Because like you say, everybody wants to know how the person being cared for is.
Yes.
But, you know, they sit and talk to each other about how they feel and how it feels to watch their family go through that. It's very rewarding to run that group.
Yeah, and a lot of people just sort of keep whatever's going on in the family to themselves. They don't want to talk to anybody. They're a little bit embarrassed, you know, and then once they start opening up to someone, they realize, wow, you know, I'm not alone.
Everybody's
in this.
family's that
And
nutty.
everybody's out there, you know. Yeah.
Great. Lois, could you tell us about some of the support groups that are available through Alzheimer's Association?
Well, the Southwest Regional Pittsburgh office, we actually have 60-plus support groups.
Wow.
And we have a listing on our website, or you can call the helpline, which we'll give that number to you at the end of the show. So there definitely will be a support group near you. I actually run one support group for folks that are diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease or related dementia who have been diagnosed under the age of 65. And then there's a dual group running for the spouses. So, you know, I know that that's not typical. The person diagnosed has to be in the very earliest stages so they can discuss. But support groups, my mom has Alzheimer's, and I actually go to a support group. So it's for everyone. Everyone certainly can benefit from a support group.
For those who have attended or moderated support groups, could you share with the audience what to expect when they walk into the support group?
I think the biggest thing is that they're completely confidential. You know, I was trained through the Alzheimer's Association, and that was one thing they stressed, that, you know, what they're discussing is between that. It's like it's a family. You can say whatever it is, however you feel, and know that it's not going to go beyond that. My staff members have no idea who attends that meeting. They're gone before we ever start our caregivers meeting. It's just completely, and that's why people cry. People get angry because they can do it there. They can't necessarily do it at home.
It sounds like a very safe and supportive environment. Are there guest speakers at the support groups, or is it facilitated by a leader?
It's facilitated by a leader. Once in a while we'll have a speaker, but the group is run on the wishes of the group. So the group
Wonderful.
really controls, you know, if speakers come in, or how it's really presented. The facilitator is just there to really keep things moving so that...
And on time, yeah.
That's right.
Is this available daily, evenings, weekends, once a month? You know, what's the frequency and duration?
Well, I was fortunate when I trained with the Alzheimer's Association. They have all kind of materials. There's complete listings. You can also go on the website. There's groups. Ours meets in the evening. Down at St. Stephen's, they meet during the day. The library, I think that's a day meeting. But there are so many of them that it really accommodates everyone's schedules.
Yeah, Debbie, you also have a caregiver support group meeting at the Moon Township Adult Daycare
Yes,
Center, don't
that's
you?
we have that. It's the fourth Wednesday of every month. And, you know, I love doing what I do. In fact, you know, I'm getting closer and closer to retirement, and that's where I'm headed with that. I want to be able to go out and help folks that are caregivers.
That's right. You mentioned you were an executive, a corporate executive. So was it your caregiver experience that brought you to ValleyCare?
Indirectly, it was. I'm one that always plans in advance for things, but this situation I couldn't plan in advance for, and my jobs kept having to be decreased until I stopped working altogether. And at that point, I spent most of my time with Mom. And when we had to place her into assisted living and then nursing home, I spent a lot of time there and got to know more and more about dementia. And my mother also suffered with Parkinson's and COPD, and her biggest fear was choking to death and suffering. And she had a very bad experience one day, and a rib actually went through her lung. And her biggest fears were coming true at that point. And I was dealing with hospice at that point, and I refused to have her go to the hospital because there wasn't anything they could do. I went down to the chapel, and, you know, we always make deals with God at the worst times, and I said, you know, but if she gets through this quietly, I will make it up. With no idea what that meant to me at that point. And she did. She went very peacefully in her sleep about 5 o'clock in the morning. And it was like, okay. He held his end of the bargain up. And that's how I ended up working in adult daycare. And I've never, ever looked back. It's a great occupation. You know, when one of those folks comes up and gives you a hug and say, I love you, they mean it. There's not enough money in the world to replace that.
I'm so glad you were able to share that with us. Thank you. We talked about the importance of respite care in adult day services, the importance of support groups, and the importance of a strong faith foundation. But what are some other tips that we could give caregivers out there? For example, I always hear the importance of exercise, and one of the first things to go when you get busy is exercise. A wonderful tip a colleague gave me was to actually pencil that into my schedule. And when you, Lois, were mentioning about taking that 15 or 20 minutes for time for yourself, the bubble bath, the whatever you want to do, I'm thinking to myself, pencil in the exercise and pencil in that self-time. You know, unless it's on a schedule for some people, they just won't get to it. They'll just keep pushing it off. But remember, exercise doesn't have to be 30 minutes at the gym, you know, wearing your leotard. It could be well, for example, when I'm at home and if I'm not able to get to the gym, I do cardio housework. I just pump up what I'm doing, elevate my heart rate for about 30 minutes or in 2 chunks of 15 or 3 chunks of 10 minutes, and that's a form of exercise. There's many things that you can do. Aside from exercise, ladies, what else could we suggest our caregivers do to reduce their stress?
Well, I think you have to take the time that you have off and make it really special. Things that you wouldn't necessarily do if you're going to go out and eat. Go someplace that is really nice, where you have to dress up and go, even if it's only 2 hours. Make it something you look forward to all week. That time is so important. It really is.
I'm glad you brought up eating because diet is so important to make us feel better.
Yes.
It really is. And I know it's hard to cook healthy meals sometimes, but sometimes it's the easiest thing, a nice big salad with a piece of chicken. And if you are caring for someone in your home, you are responsible for bringing in that food. So
Yes.
if you're bringing in the food that's not healthy, you're choosing to do that. So, you know, it's better for the person you're caring for to eat healthy. It's better for you to eat healthy also.
God bless the crock pot. Wanda, how about you?
I would even think about, even if you joined the gym, if you just can get to the gym just 1 or 2 days a week, even if
start
it's for a half an hour. You know,
I know
just
there are
anything just
caregivers
to get
thinking,
away.
I can't go to the gym, I can't leave this house, I'm like a prisoner in my house, but
Absolutely.
the person you're caring for can do exercises with you at home.
That's what I was just going to say.
Even if it's just chair exercises, you certainly can do any kind of exercise, whether it's sitting or standing, and the person you're caring for also can do exercises.
Benefits all.
And there's a lot of programs out there. You can get them on the internet. Sit and Fit. There's
That's true.
so many of them, and you know it's nice music to them. And
Sure, and if you don't have the web, access your local library. I'm sure they have something available that you could check out for a day or two. Great. Now, we talked about diet, we talked about exercise. What other supports could possibly help our caregivers?
Well, Debbie had mentioned social interaction, and I know that that's one of the first things to go.
yes,
But it is important to invite friends over. So your house isn't clean, you know, it's okay.
They're your friends.
They are, they're your friends. You they can come over for a cup of coffee, a glass of wine, you know, whatever. And you can just sit there and chat with them. I
Well,
think that's a really
and you
big
know what
stress
else?
reliever.
Towards the end, I learned you can invite them to wherever you're caregiving. That person loves having company too. So instead of my close friend and I going out somewhere to have coffee, she'd come up to my mom's, bring some Danish,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
everybody had company.
Oh, that's great advice. The holiday season, I heard caregivers saying, hey, let's all get together and decorate each other's houses. And some of them are able to bring a caregiver, the one they're caring for with them. So that would work out and they could help out a little bit too. So maybe you want to have potlucks, like you said, everyone needs a little bit of socialization. We have so many great tips to share here, and there's a wealth of information out there on the World Wide Web, whether you are Googling family caregiver or you are on Facebook or LinkedIn and you find the caregiving groups that already exist out there. Plus, at the end of this episode, we'll make sure that you have a listing of some of the more popular web resources for family caregivers. Thank you, ladies, for joining us today. If they want more information on ValleyCare, what could they do?
They could visit us at www.valleycareassociation.org, or they can call 412-749-5257 to connect with ValleyCare and to discuss any of your needs with one of the staff.
Thank you. And Lois, if someone is interested in one of the support groups that you mentioned, how would they find out more information?
The Alzheimer's Association website is www.alz.org, or you can call the helpline 24 hours a day, every day of the year, and that number is 1-800-272-3900.
Thank you. The Family Caregiver Support Program offers family caregivers such as Debbie financial reimbursement for her out-of-pocket expenses for over-the-counter medications or other supplies to help her care for mom, or perhaps it would offer her reimbursement for adult day services, as Wanda had mentioned, other forms of respite, the personal emergency response systems, even a little bit of light housekeeping or personal care for mom. So in order to enroll in that program, you would find out more information through Senior Line. They are really the gatekeepers for all of the wonderful programs that are offered in Allegheny County through the Area Agency on Aging. And that number for Senior Line is area code 412-350-5460. There are a number of highly trained staff members who will provide you with the information and referrals you need to help better care for your loved ones. Ladies, thank you again. This has been a tremendous conversation. I'm sorry to see it go, but our two-part series has come to a close. Thank you so much. This has been Active Aging.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.